play this game again, Lucy. Oh, I thought I didn't want to wake you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. That new webcam's not. Ah, there it is. Now it's working. Okay, one second. I'm going to. Sorry. Gotta fix it. Okay, I think I got it working. Hello, people. I'm Poturtle the Walrus and or Dutch, whichever you prefer. And we're playing this game again. So instead of long introductions, let's go right into it. We're on day 2, by the way, and we just got separated from Mai. Mai was nowhere to be seen. I couldn't even hear her chirpy voice. Also, this is a lot nicer webcam than my standard laptop one. Oh man. No, Hannah. We are woman. I took a deep breath, biting my lip. This wasn't a big deal. I could go to class alone. ... But I didn't know where the building was. Oh gosh, dang it, Hannah. I reached into my backpack and dragged out my class schedule. Homeroom. 206 Poppy Hall. Which one was Poppy Hall again? Weren't the classrooms on the other side of the campus? I picked a direction and began to walk, trying to ignore my rising panic at the thought of arriving late to the first day of class. Excuse me. As a third year, where no one knew me, all of the people staring. Hey, you okay? You look a little lost. Someone called out to me, and I turned around, almost jumping for joy. It's your turn! Let me see if I can do his voice once he starts talking. When I froze a Normal Boots jacket, he was part of the Normal Boots Club. I could practically feel my tongue swelling in my mouth. If this was Normal Boots Club member, I had to make a good impression. He was one of the founders, right? Then he must be JonTron! Yes. I'm new. I don't know where Poppy Hall is. Ugh! That's the sound he makes. Oh, you're a freshman. I can't do his voice. I'm just going to talk normal. You a freshman. No problem. My class is in Poppy Hall. I'll walk you there. Really? Really? That would be wonderful. Thank you. Was this really happening? Also, I like that little detail with the little chest hair there. That's nice. He began walking toward a large brick building in an enthusiastic manner, pumping his arms up and down like he was in some kind of show tune. I fell into step beside him. I didn't notice it when Mai pointed him out to me yesterday, but JonTron had big brown eyes and a warm-looking face. Probably because the beard keeps it warm. He was basically a human puppy. I glanced up at him from the corner of my eye. Eep! A bird. A bird on his shoulder. Birds always made me uncomfortable. Something about the ease with which they could poke out someone's eye. Is something wrong? Why'd you stop? No, nothing's wrong. He followed my gaze to the bird on his shoulder. Oh, this is Jocus. Isn't he cute? Nice to meet you in a robotic voice, because he has a robotic voice. He spoke? Yeah. He put his hand on his shoulder. Jock jumped onto his palm. Jock is a robot bird, see? Hello. Jock's eyes gleamed a dangerous red when he spoke, but nothing else suggested he wasn't a normal bird. In fact, if I hadn't known better, I would have said the red in his eyes was painted on. That's amazing! I changed my voice there. Jacques twitched his head to the side, examining me in return. The more he looked at me, the less afraid I was. What are you looking at? What? Nothing, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, Jacques can be a little sassy. Oh, sassy bird. Who are you calling sassy? I am not the sassy one. I don't forget to feed you. Chirp, chirp. Jacques, that was one time. I was alone and starving in the frozen tundra of this empty world, loveless. Afraid. Ignore him. I've been bringing him with me to the drama club, and he's taken a little too well to it. I see how this is. Shut me out like I have nothing to add to the conversation. That's a horrible robot voice, but I'm going to keep doing it just to annoy people. Jacques took his place on John's shoulder, this time facing away from us as it miffed. We resumed... Oh, as if... Okay, words. Words are difficult. We resumed our walk towards Poppy Hall. I'm JonTron, by the way. Call me John. I guessed it.
Hannah, nice to meet you.
Hannah? That's a cute name.
Well, thank you. So how long have you had Jacques?
Since middle school. We've been together for 4 years now. Ain't that right? I don't think that math really adds up correctly. Depending on the year he is. I'm not listening. In a robot voice. Yeah, well. I love him to death. I don't know what I'd do without him. It seemed like life would be a lot easier without him. But who was I to say? Oh, Hannah, you don't understand! You don't understand! Where did I throw? Okay. It's not important. We arrived at the brick building. A white sign surrounded by poppies declared it to be, unsurprisingly, Poppy Hall. Which room are you in?
Room 206.
Seriously? Yes. That's my homeroom. We're in the same class. Oh my god. John laughed and clasped me on the shoulder. Wonderful. I guess I'll be seeing more of you then, right?
Yeah. Right.
Together we entered Poppy Hall. Poppy Hall was lined with fluorescent lights and Asagao blue lockers. The lack of students milling around the hallway indicated that we were a bit late. We ran up the stairs and made it into the classroom just as the bell rang. My heart caught in my throat. Thankfully, the teacher hadn't come yet. Instead, students clumped into tight pods and milled around the classroom, catching up on vacation news.
Thank you so much for showing me the class, John.
See you later.
No problem, I'll see you around. He waved and disappeared into the wriggling mass of students. I glanced around the room, looking for an empty seat.
Hannah!
Mai peeled herself... Oh, that's not her. I gave her the wrong voice. Hannah! Mai peeled herself out from between a cuddling couple. Was that JonTron? Were you just talking to JonTron?
Yeah.
Mai's eyes widened, and I couldn't help feeling a little smug.
I realized I didn't know the way to class after you and I got separated, and he offered to walk me.
Mai emitted a highly pressurized squeal. JonTron walked you to class? Oh my gosh, you have to tell me everything! Ow. She grabbed me by the wrist and pulled me to an empty seat in the back corner of the room, right next to the window. Like that one that you can't see, but I can manipulate my camera to show you. But I won't do that right now. I saved you a seat. I slid in and took off my backpack, hooking it on the side of my desk. I was a little bit worried the books inside were too heavy for the bag to handle, but so far it held up well. Don't know what I pressed, but okay. Return.
Sorry, we got
separated, by the way.
I
I keep thinking I have to wait for the little picture to show up. That's It can get a little chaotic sometimes. So tell me, what happened? What did he say? What did he smell like? Does he have peach fuzz? Is it rough like a dog?
Wait, what?
These are very important questions I'm asking you. You need to answer them. Was his hair super silky, or did it have the roughness of a dog's coat? Before I could answer, the door to the front of the room slid open, and a tall woman strolled in. The class went quiet and obediently slid into their seats. My heart beat furiously, blood rushing through my ears.
Class.
Miss Shizuka. Why does she sound familiar? Good morning, class. Quiet. The teacher's melodic voice swam through the room, calming the buzzing high of students back from break. My shoulders relaxed and my fear ebbed away. I am your teacher, Shizuka. You might call me Miss Shizuka. The emphasis she placed on the word led me to believe calling her Mrs. wasn't a mistake she would take lately. Some of you might have noticed that we have a new student this semester. A hail of murmurs passed through the class. Some people glanced at me. Nope. There was the fear again. Gosh dilly dang darn it. Would you like to come up and introduce yourself? I nodded, stood, and slowly walked to the front of the room, counting my steps to make sure I wouldn't fall. I faced the class, took a deep breath to introduce myself, and noticed a familiar face in the crowd. There was John, sitting with two other boys wearing Normal Boots club jackets. One of the boys, the tallest one, was staring at me, the barest of frowns on his face. Something about him seemed really familiar. Wait. He was Pibg, wasn't he? The other founder of the Normal Boots Club? Pibg? Suddenly all the strength left my knees. What should I do? Why was he frowning? Was it possible that I already made a bad impression in him? You had to be kidding me. If he didn't like me, what did that mean about everyone else? Wouldn't they follow his lead? I swallowed. The faces of the class began to congeal, forming one giant blob. You moved from Amarasu, right? Whatever that means. I nodded and swallowed again. Then, like a beacon of light, I noticed Mai smiling and giving me a thumbs up. Oh my god, that face. That's right. What would Mai do in this situation? Why do I keep pressing that? What would Mai do in this situation?
Yes.
My name is Hana Mizuno. I transferred from Amaririsu Public High School.
Well, you talk for yourself. Why don't you do it more often, Hannah? I can talk too.
I'm really excited to be here. I hope you'll all take good care of me.
What? So now you have a voice. Now you're talking. On my phone. Okay, for some reason it turned off. I missed a call. Whatever. I bowed my head to the class, and they clapped politely. When I looked up, PBG wasn't frowning, but he still seemed oddly confused. Maybe he always looked like that. Hey, I forgot what her voice was. Thank you. You may be seated. I think that was it. I returned to my seat, heaving a small sigh. The hardest part of the day was over. Shizuka began to talk about standard procedure for the semester, the rules for classes, when homework was due, and that sort of thing. It was all very similar to my old school, and I spaced out in spite of myself. A brief flicker of movement caught my eye. PBG, again. I glanced at him, and his head snapped back to the blackboard. What was his problem? Class continued on like that until the bell rang, and it was time for lunch. Mai stretched her arms over her head and yawned. Man, I hate the first day of class. It's always so boring.
What you looking forward to this morning? Something about exciting things happening?
My hair. Well, yeah, but it already did. You met JonTron, didn't you? Now I've got nothing left to look forward to. She sighed. And I was hoping to see Jared before class, too. She slouched and fell across the front of my desk. It seemed like this would be happening a lot.
Is Jared really that hot?
Mai's head snapped back up, her eyes flashing. What did you say? If you stare directly at him for too long, your nose will melt off. I've seen it happen.
What?
Anyways, let's head back to lunch. I'm super hungry.
Oh.
I looked at my backpack and held it well for the class, but I worried that if I didn't take some of the stuff out now, it might do some permanent damage to it, especially with Satch's book in there. I couldn't exactly afford a new backpack.
I need to put something in my locker first.
But if we don't go now, they will run out of sesame seed buns. Okay, I gotta end this episode really fast. If you liked it, you should watch more of my videos at my, okay, this is gonna be over quick. Goodbye, just scribble, bye.